Hey Blue Marble Riders, I hope you're well. Today I've got a review of a helmet that I think might be underrated. I say might be because I haven't actually ridden with this helmet yet, that comes later. But if it lives up to the billing, then this could be the most underhyped, best value for money helmet bar none on the market. It may be the last helmet you're going to buy for a while. First of all, a bit of the background. I bought this helmet because it has a peak. For I ride east to west every day, and I ride east in the morning, and if you know anything about your navigation skills, the sun's rising in the east and you need a peak. When I ride, if you don't have the peak, the sun is in your eyes and all you can see is sort of shadows, which gets worrying at times. Your eyesight's completely good for nothing. With the peak, I'm hoping that by tilting this down, I get some shade. Right now, I'm having to use my hand to do that. So that's one reason I bought it. The other reason I bought this is that Scorpion claim the EXO 950 is an off-road helmet, an adventure helmet, and a touring helmet, depending which mode you put it in. So they're calling it an all-in-one, a Swiss Army knife of helmets. So does that mean this is a jack of all trades and master of none? Well, as Scorpion say, this has three modes: an adventure mode, a touring mode, and an off-road mode. Let's take a look and see what they mean. Right now, this is an adventure mode. It's got the peak on, it's got the shield down. You can see the big cutouts here that let a lot of air through. This isn't going to drag you back or anything like that. It's got a lot of space between the top of the helmet and the actual peak itself. So again, a lot of air is going to pass through there. Slightly different from some of the more off-road helmets, which have a slightly longer peak, and it tends to be more integrated at the top here because you're not going to be reaching the same speeds you are on your GS 1200 or your V-Strom or whatever it is you've got. The dirt mode, well, that's pretty simple. Up comes this, and I'm going to tell you about these détentes in a minute, but up comes the face shield. It sits nicely right underneath the peak here. It clears it really nicely, still allowing some airflow through there. There's no actual touching in there at all, which is nice to see, no scratching. And you can run a band and some small goggles through here, not the large ones, but the small ones. And the band hooks up underneath here and it will go round. And if you look on the back, you've got this nice cutout here to stop the band from the goggles of migrating up. A lot of dirt helmets will have this to stop that happening. So there's your dirt component right there. And then for the touring or long distance street, you simply remove this, and as you can see, it's got perfect for a coin or a key, and you can unscrew this, off it comes, and Scorpion come and they give you these cutouts here which go on. It gives it more of a fighter pilot look. I think actually that's the one for the other side perhaps. I haven't put these on yet. Yes, there it is, and it covers up all the mechanism and you get more of a fighter pilot look. A word on the graphics before I go into any more details about it. These aren't my first choice graphics. However, the helmet does not or doesn't ship right now in the color or style I want in my size. It seems that there's a fair bit of demand for this helmet, which is unsurprising given the competition for it, and I'll get into that in a minute. So I've ended up with the orange high vis. There is a yellow high vis. There's solids. There's a really nice couple of black ones, a grey, a nice dark matte grey. Looks very good. Intimidating perhaps. Other features of the helmet, really like the fact that these vents are two position détente, and they're huge, big enough for bike gloves to get on. Look at that. Very easy. The vents at the top here, very easy to push down, push up. In it comes, in it out. Not much in the way of exhaust at the back here, which makes me wonder how well this is going to flow, and if you truly were handling one of those great big GS 1200s off-road, oh god, I pity you. But if you were, would this flow enough air? Well, I suppose with the goggles it would. You're not going to be able to close this down over the goggles, which is probably a good thing. And why would you need to? I'll get to another feature. Why would you need to do that? Because what I really like about it, the other integrated effect that this thing had, was that it has, and if you take a look here, a flip down visor. And this isn't a spring visor, it's a lever with a cable. It's really nice, comes down, and it's darkened, so no tinted visor needed. just a fantastic added bonus on this helmet, something that I really wanted for those early mornings, as I was telling you, and those evenings when I'm riding back. Not only do I have a peak, I have this, and there's nothing to stop you riding like that. The manual doesn't tell you not to do it. It lets a lot more airflow in, and if you don't want to pack a pair of goggles with you, but you want to go off-road and get a modicum of protection, this will do it for you. Okay, what else do I like? Well, it's got the detents on it are incredible. I mean, I hope it loosens up a little bit, and I'll get into a negative about it in a minute, but the one positive that I really get with this is when you close this, it snaps down. I imagine the soundproofing and the windage around here is going to be very good, so I do hope that the Everclear anti-fog that they say is coated on this really works, because otherwise, without good venting, and I hope it has good venting, but without good venting, to unflog it, and wow, that was a heck of a push. I'm hoping they soften up. You're going to have to ride with it like that. That's quite a gap. I like my shields to be able to have a sort of something between that where they can come down to a semi-finger size. So whether I have to come up with some sort of, or rig some sort of device in there just to keep this cracked open or not, time will tell. If the worst comes to the worst and this doesn't stay unfogged, you can always get the pinlock, which I have used and is fantastic. You will never fog a pinlock. So let's see how this works. Another thing about it is it's got the two-sided, so you can use either hand to lift this. Wonderful. Okay, the pièce de résistance on this helmet. I've shown you a whole bunch of features now, but what makes this really special? Well, if you look carefully, the hint is this is also a modular helmet. Okay, and it's very, very simple to push. You just literally, there's a red button here, and if you take a look at that red button, you pull down on the red button, and up she goes, and you notice that the peak comes up a little bit to give clearance to this. Now, Scorpion do not recommend in their manual that you ride like this, but nevertheless, if you want to take a drink, talk, or just get a little bit of cooling happening while you're off the bike or walking around, what a wonderful feature. I've never used a modular helmet. It does provide a little bit of a problem for me. If I'm going to motovlog with a modular helmet, I cannot stick my mic in there. The cable will restrict this movement or get ripped out. So I'm going to have to find a way of running a cable through here and having my mic back here, and it's, the jury's out as to whether that will work. I have a boom mic I might be able to use. So there's one negative on it. It came with this chin guard, which I inserted. It came in this packet right here, and it's very simple to insert, take out. It pulls out very easily, and this comes down very nicely, clicks in beautifully. There's no question about whether it's in or out. Being a new helmet, it is very kind of rigid. Is there any wobblage once it's snapped in? No, it's pretty darn solid. Things that I could take or leave with it, it is about 1,800 grams in the medium, which makes it a little heavier than a regular non-modular or flip-up helmet. But weighing it right now, it doesn't feel any heavier than any of my other helmets. In fact, it feels maybe perhaps a little lighter than my VR2, which I love a lot. The other thing you need to know about this helmet is this helmet runs small. It's a neutral head shape, but I usually take a small in a helmet, brains not being one of my greatest assets. So I run a small. On this, I bought a small, had it delivered, put it on, and I kid you not, I think my head went numb. I went up to a medium, and this fits perfectly. So if you're a small, get a medium. If you're a medium, get a large. If you're a large, get an extra large. And if you've got real brains, I guess there's a 2XL that you could get as well. So all in all, this is a real helmet right now that could cover all of your needs. The question is it a master of none? That is out there to be seen. A few more features that you can find out. This has got the Quick Wick 2 type antimicrobial removable and washable liner. You can pull the whole thing out. This, as I said, comes out as well, so you can just pull this out. Okay, and this is the chin guard here. I may have trapped it in there when I lifted this up. No. Coming out. Are we coming out? There we go. And so that comes out too if you feel a little too claustrophobic, or you find she's fogging up. But it does, you can feel there's a definite good snap in there when you put the thing in there. Everything fits really nicely. I mean, it's firm. It doesn't wobble. It goes in there and you hear that click and in it goes. And this feels firm. It's in there. So I'm quite impressed with what I've seen so far in this helmet. Whether it rides as well, I don't know. The visibility on it's going to be fabulous. This eye space here, this orifice for the This is quite big. You're going to get lots of visibility and right round to the side, which is really, really nice. I appreciate that. Perhaps some negatives. Well, you're going to need that coin. It's not a quick release. Okay, the air vents could be a compromise. It might be nice and airy for the street, but like I said, if you're hauling that GS 1200 around, who knows? Small goggles only, and there's no Sharp rating for this yet. I have contacted Sharp, and they are going to rate it. They need 7 helmets, they said, and they are going to rate it. Now, Sharp, if you don't know them, are much better than the DOT rating, the Snell rating. They really test helmets, and I think they're probably the highest accolades you'll get from anyone is on Sharp. If you've got a highly rated Sharp helmet, you're in with the best chance of getting out of a crash with the least damage possible to your noggin. Typically, the Scorpions rate at between 3 and 4 stars out of 5. 3 is good, 4 is very good, 5 is excellent. There's no Scorpion on the market yet that has been tested that has got a 5. The helmet I sent back prior to this Scorpion, prior to the other Scorpion, was an HJC IS-17, and that has a 5-star rating, but it was noisy, really noisy. As I have mentioned in a previous video. My wife has one, she wears earplugs with it. Very safe helmet. Hopefully this will be up in the 4 to 5 star range. If you don't know Sharp, look them up. They've got listings everywhere of any sort of helmet you want. Last thing, the competitors for this. What's the price? Well, the price in Canada is about $370 delivered, taxes, from Ontario to BC, 370 Canadian. The only competition for this right now, there's a KLIM out there, a KLIM Carbon. It's about $800–900. Or you can get the Schuberth E1, which is $1,000 in Canada. In the States, this is $269, and the Schuberth is about $850. Just to leave you with a little thing, Web Bike World, if you know them, they rated this, as did Fort 9. Both of them came to the same conclusion, that this is a real bargain. It comes in 3 shell sizes, which puts the other dual sport flip-up company, Schuberth, to shame, says Web Bike World, and it's a solid feeling shell with almost no flexing or creaking, and I concur with that. Having worn this and pressed it around, I don't get any of that. The removable padding is comfortable, and the only issue is the tight fit, so you do need to size up on this. Web Bike World's bottom line on this helmet, if you're looking for a dual sport flip-up helmet, this is the one to get. And not only that, you're saving yourself a bundle of cash. So Schuberth has some work to do, apparently. However, this is only the first part of the test. I'm actually going to go riding with it next, and I'll let you know how it performs.
So first of all, I'm 6 foot tall. I'm on a standard seat on a 2014 Vistrom 1000. I have an aftermarket shield, windshield that is. It's a KBC Airflow, and it's set on the middle height, and I set it really, really low. So that was the parameters I was testing this with, and I'll let you know how it goes. So first of all, I took off in the morning, and as you can see, the sun's right in my eyes, and the first thing I noticed was how fabulous that peak is. It was keeping the sun right below my eyes, just about a centimeter below. You can see the airspace between the peak and the helmet there. It's generous, and so consequently you get absolutely no drag back. You can look left, you can look right, you do not notice it's there. And I'm talking speeds up to 120 kilometers an hour. This is up the hill towards my work, and you can see the peaks keeping it right below my eyes there. It was just absolutely perfect. I could see everything going on in normal riding position. Didn't have to duck my head forward at all. Later on the day, I came home and I did some different speed tests with it and different heights with the windshield. So on the way home, I started to play with things like, what's it like with the visor up? What's it like with the windshield further down, further up, forward, backwards? Anything I could do to try to get any sort of buffeting taking place. And then there I am, testing the height of the wind blast off the windshield in the lowest setting, and it's well clear of the front of the helmet and just scuffs down on the back of the helmet, and you do feel a slight pitter-patter on the back at 120 plus, unless you raise the shield, which I just did there. Then I start to play with things like, well, what's it like with the visor open? And I started to crack that visor open. So I cracked it open 1 notch first of all to see what that was like. Is it reasonable? Is there a lot of wind blast? Nothing. Put it all the way up the top. Is that going to include extra drag, and what's it like with just the visor down? Fantastic. Lets in more noise, and that's a testament to how good that visor actually seals. It is dead quiet when you put it down, and that was the most surprising thing about the helmet. Apart from the fact that I could ride with a peak and not know I had it on there, it was the quietness of the helmet. I was really quite impressed with it. That's not to say that if you start to top out at over 120 kilometers an hour, if you don't have a shield that's adjustable, you may start to get buffeted, and that's where you might need to use the coin to get that shield off. But as you can see, this passed with flying colors. I highly recommend this helmet for touring, that's for sure. I haven't taken it for off-road or with goggles yet, but I'll keep you in the loop for that. I will do a long-term review soon. And once again, Blue Marble Riders, thank you for watching. And don't forget, if you liked the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, Blue Marble Rider, out.